What's going on, everybody? It is good to be back with you guys. Had a great day yesterday. I went and ran around, went on a run in City Park, went back to City Park later and ate nachos with a bunch of friends. Then went to played softball, then watched a movie, and went to half-price apps at Applebee's. So, you can't get much better than that, honestly. But welcome back. This is... Let me change this color real quick. This is... Let's walk through Luke together. A little recap. This is Luke's gospel. This is Luke's good news. The good news of Jesus Christ. This is Luke's account, I should say. Luke started his account writing to a man named Theophilus. Most excellent Theophilus. Theophilus is a Roman official. And then Luke starts his account starting with a man named Zacharias and his wife Elizabeth. And Zacharias is a priest, and Elizabeth is his wife, and she is not able to have kids, and that is what we know right now. So let's get into it. We are in Luke 1, verses 8 through 10. I had originally thought I would do verses 8 through 17, but then I realized that video would be like 3 hours long. So I'm going to save you guys the torture of watching me for that long. And we're just going to do 8 through 10. So let's get into it. Now it happened that while he was performing his priestly service before God in the appointed order of his division, according to the custom of the priestly office, he was chosen by lot to enter the temple of the Lord and burn incense. And the whole multitude of the people were in prayer outside at the hour of the incense offering. So let's get into it verse by verse. This is Start Living. I forgot to say that. I keep forgetting to say that, but it doesn't matter. Let's get into it. So when it says now it happened, we're not going to see what it means in these 3 verses, but we will see them in the following verses after 10. This is saying this thing happened while Zacharias is doing his priestly service. But it is referring to what is about to happen in the next couple verses. Verses 11 through 17 pretty much. And following that, while he is referring to Zacharias, well, and his priestly service before God in the appointed order of his division. Zacharias was on duty during this time, twice annual allotted time that priests would serve in the temple. Priests were in charge of sacrifice and offering at places of worship, which primarily were the tabernacle and temple. I didn't spell that right. And you can find the duties of priests in Leviticus, in the books of Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. I gotta make sure I spelled this right. I didn't spell it right the last time I did this. Deuteronomy. So you can find the priestly duties in those 3 books primarily. And so I'm gonna go off trail here for a second and I'm going to talk to you about the sacrifices that they had back then. And I'm going to be pulling quotes directly from the Holman Illustrated Bible Dictionary. If you don't have that, by the way, go pick it up. It's been very helpful in explaining things that I don't understand. Highly recommend. So, the sacrifices and offerings that were brought by the people were to be a physical expression of an inward devotion. So, let me see here. What do I want to write with? No, let's go blue. Sacrifices were an inward devotion. No, I said that wrong. We're an outward expression. We're an outward expression of an inward devotion. Again, don't mind my handwriting. This is not what my handwriting looks like in real life. It's much nicer. I'm writing with this iPad pencil. I'm trying to get used to writing like however I write. So, yeah, it was in sacrifices and offerings that the people would bring was an outward expression of an inward devotion. There and the types of offerings that they had were the the burnt offering. And the burnt offering, the one who made this sacrifice did so to restore the relationship with God and atone for some sin. So it was to restore relationship with God and atone for some kind of sin. They had the grain offering. This offering from the harvest was from the harvest of the land, the only type that required no bloodshed. And while there is no reason for this sacrifice or offering, it may have symbolized the recognition of God's blessing in the harvest by society based to a large degree on agriculture. So this was kind of like a thankfulness offering. This is like a recognition of God's control, God's sovereignty, you could say, over the harvest. Still thankfulness, or yeah, you could say that. There was the peace offering. And the peace offering was to be brought in response to an unexpected blessing or an answer to a prayer or for general thankfulness. So I'm just going to write general thankfulness. What's the next one? The sin offering. And there's one more after this one. The sin offering was designed to purify the sanctuary from sin that was committed unintentionally, so that God would continue to dwell in that place of worship and sacrifice. So I'm gonna write to purify the sanctuary. Spell sanctuary. And the last one was the guilt offering. And the guilt offering was concerned supremely with restitution. And I have one more quote that I want to say. This is a straight... All of that was pretty much a straight quote out of the Holman Illustrated Bible Dictionary. All credit to them, not mine. One more quote from them. The burnt grain, peace, sin, and guilt offerings composed the basic sacrificial system for Israel, or of Israel. These sacrifices were commonly used in conjunction with one another and were carried out on both an individual and a corporate basis. The sacrificial system taught the necessity of dealing with sin and at the same time demonstrated that God had provided a way for dealing with sin. End quote. So that's what I mean. That's what they were doing. Verse 9. According to the custom of the priestly office, he was chosen by lot to enter the temple of the Lord and burn incense. When it says he was chosen by lot to enter the temple of the Lord and burn incense. Up until now, I thought in other parts of the Bible, you'll see the phrase casting lots. And I did not know what that meant. I kind of just tried to draw a conclusion that casting lots meant a group decision. I was wrong. Dead wrong. I was definitely wrong. So when I actually looked it up, what does chosen by lot mean? What does casting lots actually mean? Casting lots is what people did to determine a fair outcome. Lots were objects. So lots were objects of unknown shape, at least to us now, but not to them back then, that were thrown or tossed on the ground, and how they landed, that was the outcome of the decision. They believed casting lots was a way to determine God's will, because God influenced how they fell, right? We can also see this, another example of this in Acts, chapter 1, verse 26, when Matthias was chosen by lot to replace Judas as the 12th apostle. So that's what casting lots means. So Zacharias was chosen, like the lot fell to Zacharias, and he was chosen to enter into the temple of the Lord and burn incense. So they had to cast lots. The reason why they had to do this was to figure out who would go into the temple, because I've seen the number thousands, or I've seen like an actual number of 18,000 priests. So that's why they had to choose who was going to go in the temple. But nonetheless, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event for any priest, right? I'm going to write that. Nope, that's ugly. Once in a lifetime event. This was a special time. This was like the high point in Zacharias' priestly service. And little does he know, it's about to get even better, because remember, it is about to happen. So we're going to get into that next time, but it is about to happen. But nonetheless, once in a lifetime event. This is the pinnacle of his career, pretty much. The BECNT, Baker Exegetical Commentary on the New Testament by Darrell Bach, states, on the book of Luke, states, only once in his life would a priest receive the special honor of offering the incense in the holy place as a part of the preparation for the sacrificial offering. In offering the incense, Zacharias is performing the greatest ministry of his priestly career. End quote. So this is high point, right? This is up there. Verse 10, and the whole multitude of the people were in prayer outside at the tower at the hour of the incense offering. The sacrifices that were held inside the temple were a reflection of the people outside. It was a solemn time. I should write solemn. It was a pious time. That's a fancy word that I don't normally use. It was a somber time. It was earnestly sobering. It was an earnestly sobering time. Earnestly sobering time. The people would be outside in prayer. They would be outside the temple praying and asking God to accept with favor the offering from his people. But that is it. That is Luke 8 through 10. Luke 1, 8 through 10. This is birth of John the Baptist. Birth of John the Baptist foretold part 2, because we already did part 1. Yeah, I hope this was fruitful for you guys. This study has been very fruitful for me. I'm excited to just keep going, keep chugging along at this. And yeah, until next time.